Hey guys, so after you have watched some videos over World War II, you're going to come and you're going to color these two maps that show where the fighting was happening in both Europe and the Pacific. The first one that we're going to do is the Pacific map, so make sure you get it. It's the one that is horizontal, not vertical. So make sure you grab that map really quickly. It is a little bit of coloring. I do want y'all to, well, you don't have to color the water, never mind. But I just want y'all to color all the stuff that's on the key. I want you to have only three different colors, green, yellow, and gray. So make sure you get those out real quick. Green, yellow, and I don't have a gray, but I'm going to use this black really lightly. You can do that, or you can use your pencil if you need to. First thing that we're going to do over here is we're just going to color in our key real quick, so that way we can go ahead and color the stuff. So the first one we're going to do is the Axis nations, okay? So the Axis nations, we're going to color green. And since the Axis nations were alongside Japan, we're also going to color the control by Japan. It's going to be like this. We're going to do this, and we're going to make it striped, and you'll see how in just a minute whenever I come over here and color. So it's going to be striped, okay? And then the Allied nations, they are going to be yellow. Neutral nations are what's going to be gray. And then obviously the wars won by Japan will be green. And the wars won by the US and the Allies will be yellow. Okay? So now the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to color all of the Axis nations and all the places that are controlled by Japan. Okay, so get out your green. I'm trying to see which one is sharpened better. We're going to get out our green, and we're going to just start down here with New Guinea, okay? So just this first part of, well, actually first let's just do the Axis nations, the ones that are fully colored. So that's just Japan, all right here. We're just going to color all of Japan, which is all of these little sections from here to here. Just color all of that in green, okay? And the reason why we're doing this is because I want y'all to have a good idea of where the fighting actually took place and how much of the land was controlled, and kind of just to put it all into perspective for you, to give you a bigger picture of all of the wars and the fights that were fought, okay? So that is the Axis nation, okay? Pretty much the only one over here is Japan, but they do have a lot of other land right now. So part of the other land they have is this little place right up here. And we're just going to draw green lines on it. Just this bottom half, not the top one, just the bottom one, okay? And then they have also this whole thing called, I think it's called Manchuria. They have Korea, and they have Japanese-controlled China. So this whole section right here, we're going to draw little green lines on. Okay? Just like this right here. Just make them kind of thick so I can tell what it is. It does not have to be pretty or perfect. It does need to be pretty-ish. I don't want it to look all crazy. I'm just going to outline mine a little bit so that way I don't go outside the lines. And then, excuse, mine's a little messy because the countertop that I'm drawing on has ridges on it. Okay, don't forget to do Korea right here. So this whole section just has lots of little stripes like that, okay? So that's how we're going to tell what part they owned, or they had control of, okay? Next part we're going to do is this little peninsula area over here. So Burma, Thailand, French, Indochina, and Malaya, okay? All this right here. Okay, they also had the Dutch East Indies, so we're going to go ahead and do those as well. And then they have pretty much all of these little islands right here. So let's get all these little islands. And this one up here as well. And this little one right here as well. And then over here with New Guinea, they have the top half of New Guinea, okay? So you see where that little, I don't know, that little curved line right there is? Do not go up below the curved line. And then they also have this little section and these little ones right here, okay? So that is all of the Access nations and the controlled by Japan areas, okay? Now, just to make it easy, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the neutral nations. And that all right here is just all of Tibet and Bhutan, okay? So it's this big section right here of Tibet. And Bhutan. Okay? Just this little area. That's the only neutral area in this whole section. The rest of everything you see, all the way from Canada to Australia and all of USSR, India, Pakistan, China, and Mongolia, they are all allied nations. So you're just going to color all the rest yellow. Okay? So just get started on that. And then we'll work on the wars. Make sure to try and stay in line the best that you can. I understand that no one's perfect, but do not make it all crazy and wild. Do a good job. I know that y'all can. This right here and this right here are both water, so don't color those yellow. I am not going to color mine all the way in just because of time, but I do want y'all to be colored and filled in all the way completely and correctly, guys. Okay, and then also over here, Alaska and Canada. And y'all get the point, okay? So make sure you're coloring it all in to fill it all in. And then we're going to do the different battles. First, we're going to do the battles won by Japan. And really the only battle that was won by Japan was Pearl Harbor. And as y'all know, since y'all have watched the videos, that is what actually caused the U.S. to get involved in World War II. Okay? The rest of these battles over here, they were all won by the U.S. and its allies. Okay? So we're just going to color all the rest of those in yellow. So that can kind of give you an idea of, oh, I forgot this part, how powerful they were, and pretty much why when US joined the war it kind of cut them off. They were a little bit busy over here. Okay, so all those battles, and so your map should look something similar like this. Should be all the way colored in, looking nice, and all the battles are covered, okay? So that's what that map should look like. Then we are going to go ahead and we're going to get the Europe map out. Where did I put mine? Oh, right here. And we're going to use the same colors for these things, but we're going to have some other colors for the different wars, okay? So we're going to need to keep our green, our yellow, and our gray. But then I also want you to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different colors of your choice, okay? Whatever color y'all want is fine. We're going to go ahead And the first thing that we're going to do is the Axis powers again. So again, that's green. And the controlled by Axis powers is still going to be green stripes, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and color that real quick. That is going to include all of these areas right here: Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, French Morocco, and Spanish Morocco. They were all controlled by the Axis powers, okay? So we're going to go ahead and draw our lines on them. Sorry, not Egypt, just Libya. Okay, so all those countries right here. Then we are going to go over here to Greece and Yugoslavia. These areas right here were also Axis powers, or controlled by the Axis powers. So we're going to color those as such. Okay, and then Austria, the Czech Republic, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, okay? So Austria, the Czech Republic, make sure you do not do Hungary, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Okay, so all these little areas right up here. And then we're going to come over to France and Vichy France, okay? So this was also controlled by the Axis powers. Okay. And then one of the last sections is going to be up here in Norway. So Norway was also controlled by them. Okay, and then you see this dotted line over here. I want you to trace it with green, because it's kind of a border. While this is not an Axis nation, or an Axis nation, the Axis powers did have control over this section. So we are going to color it with green stripes, but in a minute we're going to come back and color it some more, and you'll see. So give it its green stripes. Okay, so just trace that dotted line right there, okay? There's another dotted line over here, but we're not gonna trace that one because that one was all owned by them. It's just showing that these were technically two different areas. Okay, and then we're gonna keep our green, and now we're going to do the full Axis powered places. Okay, so that's all of Germany right here, of course. All of Germany and all of East Prussia. Okay, and then we're going to color in Italy and also the little islands off of Italy, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. So as you can see from this map, the Axis nations had a lot more power over here than they did in the Pacific. And they had pretty much this entire middle section with them. Okay? So now we are going to get our yellow for our allied nations. So we're going to come down here with the key. And remember, the allied nations was the US and then all these other countries. Basically everyone that was against Hitler. Everyone who was against Hitler and the Japanese at the time. Okay? So we're going to color in the Great Nations and Northern Ireland up here. Don't color in all of Ireland, just the northern part. Or Great Nations, I mean Great Britain, sorry. So all of Great Britain, all of Northern Ireland. And then we're also, the biggest part is all of USSR, Syria, Transjordan, Palestine, Egypt, and Cyprus, okay? So we're going to color down here first. Cyprus, Egypt, Palestine, Transjordan, Lebanon, and Syria. Okay, this we're not going to color anything right now because they weren't involved really. Okay, and then all of USSR, even the stuff that is underlined, or has, not underlined, has lines on it. So, because even though the Axis powers had control of it then, it was still part of USSR, and USSR was with the Allied nations. So make sure you color this whole section over here. So the USSR was what later became Russia. Well, yeah. Okay, just color that whole area in, and that was the whole of the Allied nations over here. Obviously, they do not have the most land in this section. Okay? But then we also have to remember there were some neutral nations. Not everybody was fighting. Not everybody wanted to fight. Okay? And so that's going to be Portugal, Spain, and then Ireland, both Sweden and Finland, and then last is going to be Turkey down here. Oh, actually, that's not the last one. Switzerland is. So all of these places were neutral nations. That just meant they were not choosing to take sides on either side of the war, and they were just remaining neutral. They weren't fighting. Okay? So that's all that. I actually forgot when we did the Axis powers to do Denmark and Belgium. Okay, sorry, my husband called and interrupted. Now we are, after you've done Denmark and Belgium, we are going to work on certain lines, like fronts of the battle and different battles that happened. So first we're going to do the Maginot line, and we are going to color it, well, color whatever color you want. I'm going to color mine red. And that is what's going to be right over here in France. You can see it's like a big dash line. Not this little dotted line, but a big dash line. And we're going to trace it. And it kind of went right there. Okay? So make sure you do that. Then we're going to do Dunkirk, which was an important battle. We're going to color that. I'm coloring mine blue. Okay? And the Dunkirk battle was actually right over here in Italy. Oh, I'm just kidding. It was in France. Sorry. This one right here in France. I'm looking at my key. Okay, so that's where the Dunkirk battle was. It was right up here in France. And there's actually a movie about it. It was pretty good. And then we're going to do the Battle of Britain, which, as you guessed it, is in Great Britain. I'm coloring mine orange. It's right up there. I don't mind what color you use as long as the color in your key matches the color that you colored up here, okay? Then we're going to do the Battle of Stalingrad. And I'm going to color mine a purplish color. Actually, I'm going to color this yellow color. Well, that was kind of... And it's this battle that's right over here, which is already yellow. So actually, I'm gonna go over it with this purple. And color this purplish color so I can tell where it is. Okay. Right back. And then we have the Battle of El Alamein, and that is down in Egypt. And I'm gonna color it this pinkish color. Whoops. Well, that's gray. It's this battle right down here in Egypt. And then we're gonna do the invasion of Sicily. And I'm gonna color that a dark blue. And that's actually right here on the tip of Italy, or on this island that comes off of Italy, which is obviously Sicily. So we're gonna do it right there. And then we have the Battle of Normandy, which I know that many of y'all have heard about, and surely it was in those videos. The Battle of Normandy was one of the worst battles for America. It was D-Day. And the Battle of Normandy was right up here in France as well. So we're going to color this one right here. Okay. And the last one is Battle of Bulge. And I'm going to use this greenish color. And it's the one that is right here in Belgium. Okay. So your map should look somewhat similar to this. Obviously these can be different colors, so it needs to look like this. It's just, like I said before, to give you a good idea of what the war was like, where these battles were fought, who had what land, and all the stuff like that. I hope this kind of gives you a better overview of all the information that you learned from those videos. If y'all have any questions or you need help, feel free to reach out and let me know. And I hope that this taught y'all something and helps y'all to get a good overview of World War II. Talk to y'all later.